Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Shrutismrutipurāṇānaṁ Ālayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarchinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandadami Bhagavad Giteva Vadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedais Sankavada Kramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Om. So, namaste once again, everyone. So, we are seeing the 11th shloka of the 9th chapter. Avajananti mam moodaha manushim tanumashritam param bhavamajanantaha mama bhutamaheshwaram. Oh, after describing the higher nature of the Lord, the Para Prakriti, from verse number 4 up to verse number 10 of this chapter, in this 11th verse, Krishna is pointing out that the ignorance of the higher nature of the Lord alone is the cause of samsara. Para prakriti ajnanameva samsarasya karanam. That is the message he is giving in this sloka. Now we will question, how can ignorance of para prakriti becomes the cause of samsara? Because one thing we must understand, the definition of samsara. Samsara is a feeling of limitation. Feeling limited by time and space. Because of which is not our nature. This limit, we are of limitless nature. But then somehow, because of our ignorance, avidya, we take ourselves to be limited, bound by time, bound by space. And it is that feeling of limitation which leads to our all endeavors for becoming limitless. And we are searching every nook and corner how we can become limitless. Because one thing we know, intuitively we know, limitless means happiness, ananda. Anantam eva anandam. That we know. So we keep chasing that ananda, that happiness in every object, every situation, every relationship, which are all within time and space. So we are chasing to get rid of this limitedness. We are chasing limited things, limited objects, limited situations, and limited relationships, without realizing that what it is, which is in itself limited, cannot give us a limitlessness. Only para prakriti, the higher nature alone, is beyond time and space. Desha kala atita swarupa. And therefore, only if we hold on to para prakriti, then alone limitlessness or immortality is possible. Other than para prakriti, if you hold on to any other thing, any other apara prakriti swarupam, then that will all come under within time and space. It will come within the realm of Maya only. And anything that falls within Maya is subject to change, subject to Shad Vikaras, Asti, Jayate, Vardate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyati. And therefore, as long as a person does not seek para prakriti, anything that he accomplishes within apara prakriti, he will continue to be a samsari only. And that is why we say, even in Karma Kanda, a person who is religious, who performs rituals, and who goes to the higher lokas, even all those lokas, they all fall within Deshakala paradigm only. This Krishna said in the 8th chapter, Abrahma bhuvanal lokaha punaravartinorjuna. He said, and therefore, only when a person knows the real nature of God and hold on to that real nature, he can be free from samsara. But unfortunately, majority of the people do not know this fact. And therefore, what they do, they hold on to the finite thing. And then at some point, they lose it and then suffer, grieve, drowned in sorrow. And another unfortunate thing is that they do not learn. They hold on to another finite thing, thinking that, oh, previous thing did not work, maybe this thing will work. And what happens? Again, they suffer. And that is why Krishna says in this verse, not knowing my higher nature as the great Lord of all beings, the deluded people look down upon me who has taken a human form. So thus, para prakriti ajnanam or Ishwara Swarupa ajnanam eva samsarasya karanam is the message given in this verse. And that is why he says, Mooda hai. Mooda hai mama param bhavam ajanata hai. They do not know my real nature, my nirguna swarupam, my formless swarupam, they do not know. Param bhavam means para prakriti, the higher nature, chaitanya swarupam. These people, ajanata hai, they do not know. And they do not know because they are born with this ignorance. Even though everyone is born with the ignorance of so many other subjects also. Because when we are born, we don't know English, we don't know Tamil, we don't know physics, we don't know chemistry, we don't nothing, isn't it? We know only probably three things: eat, sleep, and get rid of the toxins from the body. Maybe fourth, cry, especially during midnight when the parents are asleep. These are the few things that we know. We know nothing else. But then what happens? As we grow up, we strive to learn those subjects. And therefore, the people, they try to get rid of this ignorance of other things. But when it comes to the higher nature of the Lord, they make no such attempt. And therefore, this ignorance continues birth after birth until in one birth, due to some punya phala, they come to a guru and shastra to dispel this ignorance. And therefore, till that happens, they continue to be in samsara in each birth. And Krishna labels them as mooda hai, deluded people, confused people, ignorant people. And he says, since they do not know my higher nature, naturally they are going to take my lower nature as the real God. That is what we all do, isn't it? And what is that my real lower nature? Manushim tanum ashritam. My lower nature is my personal form, the Krishna form, Rama form, Venkatachalapati form, Devi form, Guru Ayurappan form. All these formed personal gods means lower nature. Because we have learned that higher nature is abhyaktam, beyond sense perception. So whatever is within sense perception is lower nature of God. And not only it is within sensory perception, it is also finite, limited. Not only it is limited spatially, but the form of God is also limited even time-wise. There is a date of birth. We celebrate with very great fanfare Krishnashtami, Ramanavami, isn't it? And there is a date of Swargaharanam also for all these lower form of gods. And therefore he says, Manushim tanum ashritam moodaha, the ignorant people resort to or take to my human form as the real form. They are really degrading me, thinking that they are glorifying me. That is another paradox. In fact, we do puja and all that, sing bhajan songs, thinking that we are glorifying that Bhagavan. But here Krishna says, actually what they are doing is they are degrading me. They are, without recognizing my higher nature, they are trying to please my lower nature. In fact, Shankaracharya has written a very beautiful text called Para Puja. It's a beautiful shloka. He says, O Lord, in the name of Shodasho Upachara, I am doing Shodasha Apachara only. But I do it out of ignorance, because when you are beginning the puja, what is the first thing you do? you invite the God. Ayatu Varada Devi Aksharam Brahma Sammitam Gayatrim Chandasam Matam Itam Brahma Jushaswanaha. So you invite the God, then you do Avahanam. You are consecrating that God in an idol or even in a photo. So you are basically locating that God in a particular place. And the very invitation indicates what? That the Lord is somewhere else, not in my house or not in the place where I am doing puja. So I have to invite him. And unless I invite him, that God is not going to come. Because this God is a very, very arrogant God. So I have to do all these, invite him, do avahanam, like a guest, and do all the upacharams. Offer him chandanam, kungumam, margyam, everything. Basically denying the fundamental nature of the Lord, who is all pervasive. And so Shankaracharya says this is the first apachara, inviting the God and consecrating in a particular place. And thereafter what we do, asanam samarpayami. You want to give a seat to the Lord to sit. Maybe a 2x2 asanam in which we place the idol or something. And Shankaracharya asks, do you want to give an asanam to that Lord who is the asanam on which the whole world is seated? Isn't it? So that is apachara number 2. And thereafter, as I said, argyam samarpayami, padyam samarpayami, washing the hands, washing the feet, washing the head, snanam samarpayami. Shankaracharya says, where are the limbs for the Lord? The formless Lord cannot have any limbs at all. And not only limbs cannot be there, when you are giving water for washing the limbs, what does it mean? It means that you are considering that Lord to be impure. Isn't it? That is why, we say when we go out and all, we come and wash our hand, feet and all that, because to remove all the dust and impurities. So here also, when we first invite the Lord, make him sit, and then we wash his hands, feet, etc., means we are considering the Lord to be impure. Whereas Lord is what? Nitya Shuddha Swarupa hai. So where is the question of cleaning? And therefore, the very attempt to cleaning indirectly says that you, Lord, you are dirty. You have come to my place without taking a bath or even washing your hands and feet. So I am giving you a thorough wash. All this Krishna is asking, or in fact, Adi Shankara is asking, is it not an insult to the Lord? And therefore he says every upachara we do is apachara only. And we do all that because we are ignorant of the higher nature of the Lord. We are taking the lower nature of the Lord, the Manushya Swarupam, as the real God. Whereas it is only Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana. Of course, all this does not mean Shankaracharya is not saying that you should stop all your pujas from tomorrow. No, because this is a very great danger. When some of the Mahatmas say something like this, people are waiting for some excuse. So, Shankaracharya himself has said all these things, lower nature and all, Manushya Swarupam. So he's correct. I will stop doing pujas. Of course, you can give up all these karmas. You can give up all the Vihita karmas once you fully understand the Nirguna Swarupa of the Lord, the Shuddha Chaitanya Swarupa of the Lord, and abide in that knowledge. Until such time, you start with Saguna Murti Puja, because at the beginning stages, Nirguna cannot be visualized by a beginner. So, what Shankaracharya says is from the standpoint of a Mahatma, from a Jnani. We should not blindly take it and say, from tomorrow I'm not going to do anything. His advice is begin with personal God or formed God, but we should not end with that. Saguna is the best beginning, but it cannot be the culmination. Culmination should be in the Nirguna. So, Sakaram to Nirakaram, Sagunam to Nirgunam, Apara to Para, Achetanam to Chetanam. That should be the spiritual journey. That should be the how one should progress in life. And Krishna says these people do not know that. And therefore, in the name of glorifying, they are only degrading me. Avajananti. They are disrespecting me. And as long as they do not know the higher nature, what will be the problem? They will not seek security and purnatvam from the higher nature, which is the only source of security. Nirguna Brahman is the only source of security. And what is the logic behind it? Anything other than Nirguna Brahman is Saguna Maya. And anything that is within Saguna Maya is matter. And anything that is material is subject to fluctuation. And therefore, you hold on to a fluctuating body. How long will it stand? You hold on to various people, hoping that they will be around. Then one fine day, we find they have left us, or we have left them. Of course, we have left them, no problem. But if they have left us, we complain, we cry. And Krishna is asking, he says, in the Gita, I have said so many things. Did it not fall on your ears? I have said all these things in the Gita very clearly. But you do not listen to my Gita. You means I'm not talking about you. You guys are all listening to the Gita. When people, who are still in that, intoxication of temporary ananda, chasing temporary ananda. So you don't want to listen to the Gita, you want to listen to only your crying. How ridiculous this is. So Krishna says, please understand, do not hold on to the fluctuating situation, fluctuating objects, fluctuating people. They will all decay and perish in time. And the result will be you will suffer. All these changing situation, objects, people are good for entertainment, good for your time pass. But if you depend on them for your security, peace, and happiness, you will be sorely disappointed and will suffer. And therefore, never lean on this ephemeral world. And samsara is caused by leaning on the changing. That is the samsara karanam. And therefore he says, param bhavam ajanataha. And what is that param bhavam? Mama bhutamaheshwaram, which is the great and highest Lord of all beings, who is the substratum or the controller of all beings. They do not know this fact. And what is the consequence of all these things? He says in the next shloka, Moghasha mogha karmana mogha jnana vichetasah rakshasi masurim chaiva prakritim mohinim sritah. So the Anvaya for this shloka is Vichetasah Moghashah Mogha Karmanah Mogha Jnanah Sritah Rakshasim cha eva Asurim Prakritim Mohinim. Vichetasah, these indiscriminate ones, the people who lack Viveka, Vairagya, of course, he doesn't talk about here. Who does not know to discriminate between the higher and lower nature of Bhagavan. Mogasha, they are full of vain hopes. Mogha karmana hai, vain pursuits. Mogha jnana hai, vain knowledge. And shrita hai, they take to rakshasim, rajasic, chayeva asurim, and tamasic, prakritim, nature, mohinim, which deludes them. So these indiscriminate ones are full of vain hopes, vain pursuits, vain knowledge. They take to rajasic and tamasic nature, which deludes them. So, having talked about samsara karanam in the previous verse, now in the following verses, beginning from this 12th verse up to the 19th, Krishna is talking about various types of people who approach the problem differently. Some people, of course, approach the problem sensibly and intelligently because they have diagnosed the problem. So they are intelligent people since they have diagnosed the problem. They have got a direction in life. What is the diagnosis that they have made? Do not emotionally lean on the perishable situations, objects, and people. It is highly risky. Then learn to lean on the Lord, the higher nature of the Lord. Remember, this transformation starts with world dependence to God dependence and to finally self-dependence. When we say depending on God, that culminates in the understanding Aham Brahmasmi. I am myself, my nature and God's nature is one. So when I say I have to depend on God, means I have to depend on my own self. So world dependence to God dependence to finally self-dependence. So I have to change the object of dependence from world to God. And if that is happening, that is going in the right direction. But Krishna says the problem is most people, or you can say many people, they have not diagnosed the problem because of their wrong thinking. And unfortunately, they do not learn from their experience also. They depend upon some object and that object goes away. They are left high and dry and crying. And then what they do? They don't sit back, introspect, about why I am suffering or why I am having this sorrow when I lose that object. Instead, what they do, when one perishable object goes away, they switch over to another perishable thing, thinking that that perishable thing will give them immortality or whatever they are seeking in life, liberation. It is like, people who are addicted to smoking. They sometimes, when they want to quit smoking, they think that if I actually get addicted to something else, I will be able to quit smoking. So they quit smoking for some time, and they start taking this, betel leaves. What is the eating pan? Why I am saying this is, I have myself done it. After some time, what happens? Smoking comes back and the eating pan becomes the additional, addiction rather. So one addiction is replaced by another addiction. One finite dependence is replaced by another finite dependence. And Krishna is asking, should they not learn from their own bitter experience? And Krishna said they do not. Most of the people are dumb ones, mooda hai. And how does that happen? The details are beautifully given. The human pursuits, any form of human pursuit has got 3 stages. Janati, Ichchati, and Yatate. The first stage is knowing activity. Before any activity, before I undertake any activity, I should have the knowledge about the result of that activity, isn't it? Because if I don't know the result, then I won't know why I am doing a particular thing. Therefore, knowing activity is the first activity. It is like, in the morning when you get the newspaper, of course, you read the news and all, but there is one very important column in all newspapers, which is a today's engagements column. So from that, you come to know of the many programs in the city, what is going on, which all, what is this and all. And this knowledge of several things, this jnanam gives way to ichcha. Because you cannot desire something which you do not know. So jnanam leads to ichcha. You first have knowledge of all programs, and then you have a desire to attend only one of them, because that is what you can do. Of course, whatever you know, you may not desire, but you cannot desire an unknown object. Therefore, jnanam gives way to desire, and desire leads to action. So, jnana shakti to ichcha shakti, then to kriya shakti. Desire leads to action. Throughout the life, this is our process. And therefore, all our pursuits begin at the cognitive level, at the understanding level. So if I do not have proper understanding of the things in the world, the possible course of life, if I do not have a clear understanding, jnana shakti is abused, ichcha shakti will be abused, and kriya shakti will also be abused, and we will get into problems. And therefore, Krishna says, many people are misinformed or uninformed because they do not study the scriptures. And that is why scriptural study becomes very fundamental necessity to get a direction in our life. And that is why, in olden days, everything, every person was subject to first scriptural study. Then only you choose your vocation, your professional, whatever, skill you want to develop and all. Scriptural study was fundamental to everybody. And that is what he said here, Vichetasaha. Vichetasaha means those people who do not have Vivek Shakti, whose Sattva Guna is overpowered, Avivekinaha. And the problem is, we are all Avivekis, indiscriminate people. And the Vedas, the scriptures know this. And that is why they come to assist us. They are available throughout. No, like what they have, the may I help you counter in the railway stations. Once you go there, you will get what you are looking for. But because of our intellectual arrogance, neither we will know by ourselves, nor we will expose ourselves to the teaching of the scriptures. For those who know Tamil, there is a very famous saying in Tamil. Tanakkavum theriyadu, chonnalum puriyadu. Such people are there. They will not know by themselves. And even if you tell them, they will not understand also. And Mundaka Upanishad, as we have seen, Mundaka Upanishad students, I am addressing them, criticizes such people. We saw a mantra, avidyaya mantare vartamana hai, swayam dhira hai panditam manyamana hai, janganyamana hai pariyanti mooda hai, andhe naiva niyamana yatanda hai. See, beautifully connected. Neither do they know, nor will they take up the help of scriptures. Why? All because of intellectual arrogance. What can scriptures teach me? I know everything in this world. Therefore, Vimuda hai. Krishna calls him Mogha Jnana hai. They all have the wrong understanding, expectations. They think they know everything, but there's all wrong understanding. Wrong expectations. What are the wrong expectations? Everything which is impermanent is mistaken as permanent. They think power is permanent, position is permanent, people around will be permanent. Above all, they think money is permanent. And therefore, Shankaracharya wants in Bhajagovindam, Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garvam harati nimeshat kala sarvam mayamayamidam akilam hitva brahmapadam tvam pravisha vidhetva. Beautiful. One sloka Shankaracharya says how to recalibrate your direction of your life. Don't have garvam, arrogance, pride in all that, in dhanam, wealth, janam, around people around you. All these, Harati Nimeshat, Kalaha Sarvam, time will destroy all these things in a split second. All these are what? Maya is trying to misguide you. Maya is trying to keep you always under its control. The only way out is to get rid of the clutches of Maya by Brahmapadam. Entering the Brahmapadam, Brahmapadam Tvam Pravisha Viditva. By knowing that Brahmapadam. So these people do not know. Therefore, they are having wrong expectation of security from insecure, permanence from the impermanent. Therefore, mogasha hai. They have got vain desires, futile knowledge, worthless knowledge they have. And therefore, their desire are also futile desires. And if the desires are futile and worthless, what will be their actions? Mogha karmana hai. Their actions also will be futile. That means they will not get what they expect because of wrong expectations. And then what will happen? We saw in the third chapter, Sri Bhagavanuvacha Kama Yesha Krodha Yesha hai Rajo Guna Samudbhava hai Mahashano Mahapatma Vichena Miha Vairinam. So when they have the wrong desires, any amount of accomplishment will not quench the desires. That will only nourish more desires and convert them into greed. And greed will lead to what? More and more kamya karma. And therefore Krishna says here, Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Srita hai. Their actions will be Kama Pradhana actions, Krodha Pradhana actions. Their actions are born out of either attachment or their actions are born out of hatred, dvesha. So Rakshasim and Asurim. The difference between Rakshasim and Asurim is one is Raga Pradhana, another is Dvesha Pradhana. And when it is Raga Pradhana or Kama Pradhana action, then what will happen? They will take to illegal methods because desires are more. And by legitimately earning, you cannot fulfill all the desires. Therefore, the mind will think, why can't I adjust a little bit? Everybody does it. These adjustments end in match fixing. So even though they have got lot of money, the greed will turn a person to take to immoral actions. And that is called Rakshasim Prakriti. Greedy Swabhava, immoral activity, selfish activity. And Asurim Chaiva, when I have got so much greed and I find that some competitor is obstructing my goal, then comes the philosophy of cutthroat competition. I cannot allow the other fellow to overtake me. I will destroy him. Destroy the competitors. And therefore, what started in raga will end in dvesha. Kama will get converted into krodha, and krodha will get converted into dvesha. From selfish activities, I take to harmful activities. So raga dvesha pradhana karmas will dominate my life. What about Panchamahayagya? They will ask, what is that? Because there is nothing like that in their life. Nitya Naimittika karma also will drop because there is no time. I would like to use that time also to earn more money. They will justify, I want my children to go to America and study. You know how much it costs? Some hundreds of thousands of dollars. I have to earn more and more and save. All this, it's a vicious cycle rather. And therefore, Rakshasim, Asurim, Chaiva, Prakritim. Prakriti means nature, character, Swabhava. Shrita hai, they take too, which is Mohinim, which will delude the people. Which means what? As I said, get into a vicious cycle. So because of aviveka, non-discrimination, the kamya nishiddha karmas increase. And because of increase of kamya nishiddha karmas, discrimination will get further stifled. And when the discrimination gets further stifled or overpowered, kamya nishiddha karmas will still increase. And when they increase again, buddhi will get further spoiled. And when further spoiled, more harmful action, more loss of discrimination. Thus, a person gets into this vicious cycle of wrong action, loss of discrimination, more wrong action, more loss of discrimination. Now, ultimately, they lose even their conscience, their moral sense. And that is how criminals are born, isn't it? First time they commit a crime, something inside them tells him it is wrong, don't do it. So they have some initial prick of conscience. But more these actions are repeated, that prick also goes away. Not only it goes away, but intellect also begins to justify the compromise of values. As I said, justify earning through all means to send the children to study abroad. So when we compromise with the values, initially there is a prick. Somehow you manage that. Second time lying will not be pricking that much. Third lie, lesser. Fourth lie, no prick at all. Fifth lie, I will start justifying. Sixth lie, I will say, you see, this is Kali Yuga, Baba. This is how one has to live. One has to do like these things. That is how we will justify. Put all the blame on Kali Yuga. And once you have reached that stage, that person has become almost incorrigible. And therefore, better luck next birth. That's all we can tell them. Wish them good luck in the next birth. At least some viveka, let it come in the next birth. That's why Krishna said, Buddhi nashat pranashyati. In fact, there is a beautiful sloka, I think it's a Vashitam also. Vanani dahato vannehe sakha bhavati marutaha sayeva deepanashaya krishe kasyasti sauhridam. When the fire is burning in the forest, Vanani dahato vannehe. When the fire is burning in the forest, huge conflagration of forest fire. Then you find the wind becomes the friend of the fire. Sakha bhavati marutaha. When the fire was a small flame, then the wind is the enemy, isn't it? It will blow and the flame will be blown out. But once the flame has become a conflagration, the very same wind will become a friend. So what is the law? If you cannot defeat the enemy, join them. Similarly, when we take to Kamya Nishidha karmas initially, Rajasic and Asuric karma initially, our buddhi can stop them. But if we let it go and allow it to grow, then intellect cannot stop the compromise with values. And then intellect will begin to join and justify the violation. And such people are called Rakshasas people and Asuras who have Rakshasim cha Asurim Prakritim. A very important, beautiful shloka. So Krishna continues. Mahatmanastu mam partha दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिताः भजन्ति अन्यम अनन्य मनसः ज्ञात्वा भूतादिम् अव्ययम् भूतादिम् अव्ययम्. हे पार्थ, आश्रिता है दैवीं प्रकृतिं ज्ञात्वा अव्ययम् भूतादिम महात्मानः तु भजन्ति माम अनन्यः मनसः. हे पार्थ, ओ अर्जुना, आश्रिता है, having taken to दैवीं प्रकृतिम सात्विक nature, ज्ञात्वा and having known me to be अव्ययम् भूताधिम, the imperishable cause of all beings, Mahatmana, the noble souls, tu on the other hand, bhajanti mam, in fact, tu can be put right in the beginning. Bhajanti mam, worship me, ananya manasaha, with an undistracted mind. So, O Arjuna, having taken to sattvic nature, and having known me to be the imperishable cause of all human beings, the noble souls, on the other hand, worship me with an undistracted mind. So in the previous verse, Krishna talked about misguided people who are groping in samsara and who are getting more and more bogged down in the samsara. But he says everybody is not like that. There are some fortunate people. Because of their Purva Janma Punyam, they are born in a proper atmosphere where there is scriptural guidance. Elders have value for scriptures. And therefore there is a value for Nitya Naimittika karma like prayer, Sandhya Vandanam, etc. And therefore what happens to them is said in this sloka. He Partha, O Arjuna, Mahatmanaha means Punyavantaha, Sattva Guna Pradhanaha. They are born in a cultured family where there are religious values and therefore the regular prayers, etc. are a part. They are not running after TV shows, or they are not being glued to their mobiles. They have a value for bhakti. They have value for morals. They have value for values. Puja Swamiji has written a very beautiful book, Value for Values. He says that it is not enough that you have values in life. You must have a value for that value, then only you will follow those values. Very nicely he says. And Krishna calls those people Daivim Prakritim Asritaha. They have to be of Sattvika nature, in which Panchamaha Yajnas are compulsory. Nitya Naimittika karmas are part of life. It is a dharmic life. It is a scripture-based life. And when a person takes to such a way of life, what happens is, because of the grace of the Lord and because of him or her being sattva guna pradhana, a person develops nitya anitya vastu viveka. He understands that sooner or later everything other than God is perishable. And it does not take one full lifetime. If we lead a religious life, a religiously alert life, pariksha lokan karmachitan takes place. Every experience in my life teaches a valid lesson. And what is that valid lesson? I should not seek security from the world. I should seek security only from God. I should seek Purnatha not from the world but only from God. I should seek peace of mind not from the world and the people, but only from God. This wisdom, otherwise called Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha, that automatically develops. And therefore Krishna says Mahatmana. So they are great people who have got Viveka. Because of what? Daivim Prakritim Ashrita hai. As opposed to Rakshasim and Asurim. Rakshasim and Asurim represent Rajoguna Pradhana and Tamoguna Pradhana. Daivim Prakritim refers to Sattva Guna Pradhana. So what happens? Their karma karmas are less. Nishiddha karmas are still lesser or actually totally avoided. More and more nishkama karmas happen. That is, the mind purifying karmas are more in their life. So daivim prakritim ashrita hai. Mam nyatva. They have understood me to be the ultimate refuge, the ultimate shelter, the only safe ground. Mam nyatva. And what type of me? Bhutadhim. Bhutadi means Jagat Karanam. I am the ultimate cause of all beings. And ultimate cause means what? The causeless cause is called the ultimate cause. We saw that earlier also in one of the slokas. And that means the Lord is beginningless, Anadi. And not only the Lord is Anadi, is Avyayam. Lord is Anantaha also, Anantaha cha, without an end. The one who is beginningless or endless, the one who is infinite. And if you want to become limitless, and if you want to become infinite, there is only one infinite thing in the world which can give you infiniteness or limitlessness, and that is Lord. Other than the Lord, everything else is finite. Other than Bhagavan, use anything, no problem. But never lean emotionally on any one of them. If you ask what will happen if I lean on emotionally on them, what all that we will say is, we try and see for yourself. You will know at the appropriate time. As the saying goes, fools learn from own experience, wise men learn from experience of others. So intelligent people learn from other people's suffering, and unintelligent people require their own suffering to turn towards the Lord. Okay. And that is the problem. Okay. We will continue in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavad hai everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Guruji.
you very much, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Guruji.
Guruji. Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om Guruji, thank you.
Namaskaram.
Thank you. Namaskaram.
Guruji,
Hmm.
when we talk of formless listening, in order to pray, that means that is the higher level. Does it mean our so-called minority community, they don't have any idol, nothing. They just look at one particular direction and pray.
Direction is within space and time,
That is okay. But they have no idol worship, no picture, no nothing.
There is no need to look at direction, because if you understand higher nature is just around you. Why should you look somewhere? All pervasive, isn't it? Then why are you looking at some place? So they don't have, that is not the understanding of higher nature. If you are looking, because not only minority community, many people say I should pray, face this direction and pray, right? Why other religions, even our own religion, people, if there is a, in the puja rooms in our home,
Yeah.
they will not sit showing their back to the photos which are there.
Correct.
Correct? What does it mean? That means God is there only in the photos. So I should not show my back. Showing my back means it is an insult. Correct?
Correct.
That is the level of ignorance. Where is the question of back and forth and all? When everywhere, in fact, there is one nice story I have read about some Mahatma, that Mahatma was sitting in a temple, Shiva temple, which was Shivalingam was there. And the door was open. And this Mahatma was sitting with his leg spread towards that Shivalinga. So that Pujari came and he said, "Oh, Acharya, what are you doing? You are spreading your legs towards Shivalinga. You are so insulting the Bhagawad and all that. Remove your leg in some other direction." So that Mahatma asked, "Please tell me in which direction Bhagavan is not there. I will put my leg in that direction." Right? So I don't know whether the Pujari understood what the Mahatma asked or not. So that is why, and some stories are there about Shankaracharya also when he...
Guru Nanak, there is a story. Guru Nanak also.
Guru Nanak also there. So all these Mahatmas, they try to give the same message through these stories, Why are you looking at a particular idol, particular photo, particular direction? Because if you understand God is all pervasive, and if you have belief in that understanding, otherwise you say, no, you are talking nonsense. God is not all pervasive. But that is not the belief of so many other religions. For them, God is in heaven or in some, Jannat, etc. God is nowhere. But for us, that is not the case. In fact, there is no God for us. Aham Brahmasmi, I am the God. So when you reach that stage, where is the case, where is the reason for looking at a particular direction or looking at every person, every human being, everything, every object? What you see God in water, in the sea water, in rainwater. You see God in every mosquito, you see God.
That's what they say, no? Thooninum irupar, thurumbilum irupar.
You see, the beauty of this thing is, it is not the Tunil irupar, Turumbil irupar. He says Tunilum irupar, Turumbilum irupar. That lum also, which also means he is everywhere and he is also in this. And the Tunilum irupar, Turumbilim irupar is nothing but Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan, which Upanishad says. What is that God? Mahato Mahiyan is in the biggest of the biggest object. Anoraniyan in the smallest or the tiniest of the tiniest object is God. So why are you looking here, there and all, God? But unfortunately, we are so
Condition.
orientation is that when we say God means we look up only. Isn't it? And we throw our hand up, say up and down. Oh God, please save me and all. But once you go into all these things, understand the real nature of God, then you may not tell others to do it because they may not understand. But you yourself will, for your own sake, you will follow all these things. And we will not become judgmental about others, whether other people are doing right or wrong. No need. Whatever is their Shraddha, their Astha, let them continue to do. Eventually, they will all come to this stage at some birth or the other, isn't it? And that's what Krishna also says, we saw that. Oh, don't disturb those people, let them continue what they are believing in. So,
Let them come to their slow realization.
yeah, slow realization will happen. So, that is what it is. Okay.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other question? No hands are going up. So I guess we can close this session. Right? Okay, Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Mm.